the judgment, the day of judgment in 1 Corinthians 3, people there, which are ministers, believers, they're undergoing a purification in the afterlife, a painful one at that, because the Greek word zemiao is utilized there. They're undergoing a painful purification, but they're eventually so. They're saved, but as through fire.
Yeah, so again, in 1 Corinthians 3, of course, everyone's works go through the fire, every single one, even though, so it's every single person's works go through the fire. So based on your argument, everyone would have to go through some type of purgatory. And again, the cleansing of which we speak is by the blood of Jesus. Let's go back to this issue.
Actually, I'm going to answer that.
We right now have fellowship with God through the blood of Jesus. We can enter, Hebrews 10, the most holy place. Ephesians 2, we are seated in heavenly places with him. Yet you're saying that upon death, we are unworthy, we're not ready to go into his presence. We're in his spiritual presence now. That would be a contradiction.
Let me answer your comment in 1 Corinthians 3, and then I'll go to that one. You made a comment saying that everyone would have to go through that. There's no doubt about that. That's why John Chrysostomos, when commenting in 1 Corinthians 3, and the early fathers, Augustine as well, they're very clear. Even the saints go through a divine fire. But what does Chrysostom say? He says they go through it with holy armor. They don't undergo that punishment. And he interprets the Greek word zemiao, Dr. Brown, and he says there are some that do undergo a loss that causes them pain. So we agree. Everyone has to go through this divine fire that the church has traditionally interpreted as Christ. But
so
not
everyone goes through
purgatory.
Everyone goes through purgatory. Everyone goes through purgatory.
No, sir, because we're not told that everyone suffers loss. There's a very big difference there, Dr.
But we're
Brown.
told that everyone's works go through the fire, and you said that there is no separation of the person and the work. So you are saying that everyone will go through the fire. That
is correct. Let me read it for you, Dr. Brown. We're literally told those that build with gold, silver, and precious stones go through the fire, and what happens to them? They receive
you
their
didn't
reward.
read. You just misquoted. It doesn't say they go through the fire. You keep misreading
I'm sorry, Dr.
it.
Brown.
But in any case, let's get to my main question that I asked.
But they do go through that
If
fire.
we are now seated in heavenly places with Jesus, if we can enter the most holy place through the blood of Jesus and have access into the very presence of God, why, when we leave this world, can we not continue in that fellowship with him?
Purgatory never once ever presupposes that you don't continue in the fellowship of God. Purgatory is not a second chance in the afterlife, Dr. Brown. I think that's the one area where we may have had a major misunderstanding, because you keep misunderstanding what the dogma of purgatory is. We are in the presence of Christ. That divine fire has been classically interpreted to be Christ, Dr. Brown. So we are in the presence of Christ. In fact,
so we're not in prison. We're not in prison.
No, prison is
we're in the unveiled presence of God, enjoying perfect fellowship with him.
Let me finish
while
my
going
sentence.
through. Okay.
The way fire is utilized as a metaphor, prison is utilized as a metaphor as well. The reason they're utilized as metaphors is because they're talking about sin the person is undergoing. So I agree with you, Dr. Brown. They are in the presence of Christ. Purgatory is part of the gospel for this very reason. People are saved. You don't go to purgatory if you're not going to go to heaven. It's a purification. Some saints in the early church taught it was instantaneous. Some thought it took time.